So happy to see everyone. Greetings. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is about 11 a.m. on Sunday, July 21st, 2024. We're so happy to have with us yet again Dr. Boris Handel. We are continuing in the series with Dr. Handel about the writings of the Bab. And this week's topic is none other than the Heavenly Treasury of the Bab. Just a quick introduction. Dr. Boris Handel is Professor of Education at the University of Notre Dame in Australia. He is the author of Mirza Mehdi, The Purest Branch, Barqa and Ruhullah, Eve Nicklin, She is of the Brave Heart, The Khamsis, A Cradle of True Gold, a trilogy of consecration, El Concurso en lo Alto, and Muhammad, Profeta de Dios. His most recent book, Quddus, the first in rank, will be published in 2024. And of course, Dr. Handel has written over 100 articles, books, and reports in the field of education. So with all of this, making it somewhat well-rounded, we're so happy here today to be discussing the Bab and the writings and all that relates to it, really. So without much further ado, the topic, the Heavenly Treasury of the Bab. This is the third presentation that will highlight examples from the Bab's writings on ethical and mystical concepts, including individual and community exhortations and prohibitions, both social and individual. It will also include moral precepts, social principles, as well as a survey of the writings of the Bab regarding social development and the new Badi calendar. This second presentation will also address the importance of nurturing a devotional life, as well as the context around popular Babi prayers and invocations that are still in use in the Baha'i community today. With that being said, welcome, Dr. Handel. We're ready to get started with the presentation.
And thank you, John, for these kind words. Thank you very much. Friends, good morning from Australia. Today we are going to talk about the topics that were mentioned by John, but we are going to put it in the context of the Bayán, or the Persian Bayán, okay? So to put a frame all these two ideas. So we're going to start with a small movie clip, putting things in a historical context. Then we will talk about these treasures from the Bayán, about the divine revelation. Then we will talk about the creative word of God, also in the context of the Bayán, the Persian Bayán, and how they have managed, how the creative world have generated new civilizations. And we are talking here about the Baha'i civilization in a way. And then we will talk about the architecture of the Bayán, the Persian Bayán, the laws, and the references to Baha'u'llah in this book. Now, in the last session, we talked about the Qayyúmu'l-Asmá, okay? We said the Qayyúmu'l-Asmá is known as the first book of the Bab since he declared his mission. It's the mightiest book of the Bab. And this book was written in Arabic, was revealed to Mullah Hussein, the first chapter. It consists of 111 chapters because each chapter is a particular comment of one of the verses of the Surah of Joseph in the Quran. So the Surah of Joseph in the Quran have 111 verses. So therefore, the Surah of Joseph has 111 chapters, okay? So after that, Qudus, Bab and Qudus, they went on pilgrimage to Mecca, okay? So all the letters of the living, the first disciples of the Bab that accepted the cause of the Bab in the next 40 days. Then the Bab farewell then and asked them to go back to their native provinces to teach the new faith, except for Qudus, because Qudus was taken with the Bab to go to the pilgrimage to Mecca, because was part of one of the prophecies that the Qayyum would proclaim his faith in Mecca. So they came back after, say, 1 year after the declaration. And during this year, Qudus was with the Bab and also with a servant, Mubarak. And then from Shiraz, the Bab started a chain of successive journeys throughout the country, being expelled from Shiraz, then to Isfahan. Then he we're supposed to go to meet the king in Tehran, but then there was a sudden change in the decision, and he was sent to the mountains of Maku. Okay? And we focus on Maku because the Bajan was revealed in the mountains of Maku. Okay? So the mountains of Maku was the farthest place in the country, going, say, northwest, was 20 kilometers away from the border with Turkey and all very close also to the border of Russia, very isolated. They wanted to isolate the Bab. And in Maku, he spent 9 months, and that's the place where the Persian Bayán and the Arabic Bayán were revealed, because we have 2 Bayans, the Persian Bayán and the Arabic Bayán. The Arabic Bayán is much more smaller. In a way, it's a summary of the Persian Bayán, but in Arabic. So this word Bayán is very important, because Bayán means exposition, discourse, utterance, and is the same word that the Muslims use to refer to the Quran. The Bayán, exposition, utterance, explanation. So this word is important because it's used to represent the Persian Bayán, the Arabic Bayán, but also all the literature from the Bab, all his writings are considered the Bayán. So the revelation of the Bab itself is the Bayán. So when the Bab used the word Bayán, he used it for his whole generation. So having said that, I'm going to show this small video. It's 7 minutes. I pinched it from the internet. This is the original source. And here we are. Can you tell me whether you can hear the sound, please?
When the Bab returned to Shiraz from pilgrimage, great excitement was caused by the announcement of his Babhood.
Can you hear the sound, please?
Yes, we hear the sound.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, you can hear.
When the Bab returned to Shiraz from pilgrimage, great excitement was caused by the announcement of his Babhood. The Shiite doctors vehemently denounced him and persuaded the governor of Fars to undertake the suppression of the new heresy. The Bab was arrested, examined, severely rebuked, and violently struck in the face, but eventually released to the custody of his maternal uncle. The Bab spent approximately 15 months in Shiraz before leaving to Isfahan, when an outbreak of cholera had spread. The writings of the Bab were voluminous, and the rapidity with which, without study or premeditation, he composed elaborate commentaries, profound expositions, or eloquent prayers, was regarded as one of the proofs of his divine inspiration. The following are some of the best-known works of the Bab during this period. Commentary on the Surah of Kosar, commentary on the Surah Qadr, commentary on the Surah of Tawheed, commentary on the letter Ha, treatises on Islamic jurisprudence, the Epistle of the Branches of Justice, the Golden Epistle.
The Bab arrived to Esfahan in the summer of 1846 AD and spent the full ecclesiastical dignitaries of the city, who ceremoniously received the Bab and treated him extremely well to obtain the presence of the Bab for different reasons, and many accepted his claims. But the Shia doctors of the city vehemently denounced him as heretic, condemning him to death. The Shah himself was induced to summon the Bab to his capital, Tehran. At that time, the pious governor of Eb set out in the direction of Tehran in accordance with the Shah's instructions. The following are some of the best-known works of the Bab during this period: commentary on the Surah of Al-Asr, the commentary on the validity of the specific mission of the Prophet Muhammad, and the epistle on music.
On the eve preceding the third Nowruz, after the declaration of his mission, which fell on the 20th of March 86 AD, the Bab arrived to the city of Kashan on the way to Tehran and stayed over for 3 nights in the house of Mirza Kashani, a noted resident of that city. On the morning of the second day after Nowruz, the Bab left again towards Tehran in the escort.
After 2 days, Bab arrived at the village of Gomrud and stayed the night.
And after another 2 days of travel, the Bab arrived to the fortress of Kanargarh on the road to Tehran, when a messenger unexpectedly arrived from Tehran bearing a written order from the Prime Minister of Mohammad Shah to the leader of the escort, instructing him to proceed immediately with the Bab to the village of Kulain.
And after 2 days of travel, the Bab arrived to the village of Kulain and stayed there for 2 weeks. There, the Bab received a letter from Muhammad Shah informing him of a change in plans, ordering him to proceed to Tabriz on the way to the castle of Mahkû in the province of Azerbaijan.
In Tabriz and was conducted to one of the chief houses in that city, which had been reserved for his confinement, near the castle of Mahkû.
And no one was permitted to visit the Bab. Eventually, the Bab persuaded the frontier office in charge of the castle to alter his attitude towards the believers who visited him. At night, however, those whom the Bab desired to see were allowed to enter his presence, were able to converse with him and receive his instructions. As he lay confined within the walls of the castle, he did his consolation and persistently urged his followers to seek and find him whom God would make manifest. 9 commentaries on the Quran, Arabic Bayán.
Perfect. Good. Hi. So it's amazing how much you learn from. Can you see my PowerPoint, please? No? No, this one here. Oops. Share the screen. That's the PowerPoint. Good. Are you right now? Great. So the Persian Bayán can be considered as epitome of the teachings of the Bab, a summary, a comprehensive collection of his teachings, and the most weighty, the most illuminating and comprehensive of all his works. He categorically proclaimed to be the Qayyum, the promised one of the Islamic faith, the Islamic Messiah, if you put it this way, and is considered an important doctrinal work of the Bab. So it's not only a book of laws, but it's also a book of the Bab's teachings. We are going to look now at the Bayán from this point of view, from the view of the teaching that the Bab put in this book. Now, the book is more than a book of laws, is a eulogy, as Chogi Effendi says, about laws, but it's also a eulogy for the promised one. And importantly, is a book in manner. So anyone who read the Bayán could understand what his teachings were about. And Maku was situated in the province, that was the name of the province, north of Iran, which literally means land, and it's mentioned in the Quran, in two parts of the Quran, were a place where some important prophecies were going to take place. Okay, and these are the words of the Bab, who says that people should attain his presence. These are the Bayán. As soon as the mover make, ye haste to attain in unto him, even though you have to crawl over the snow. So many Babis start traveling to Maku to see the Bab. The Bab stayed there for 9 months. So originally, this was a very old town. It's about 7 or 8 centuries before Christ, and used to be a castle, for a palace for a defense of some ancient Persian kings. And what you got in the drawing is what this castle may have looked like at that time. So here you got another picture. In the next slide, I'm going to put more of these pictures. Bolts under the floor for storage. It's made of stone, and it was in the heart of a mountain that dominated the city. But the mountain concave shape. So anyone who was in the fortress couldn't see the mountain. It's like that you couldn't see the moon. That's why the meaning of Maku has been said is, where is the moon? Ma in Persian means, and Ku means, it means the open mountain. So here you see the mountain, as you can see, it has a concave shape that the name Maku came from. And the Bab in the Bayán, he says, he described the conditions of his confinement in this prison. And he said that he has been abandoned, and that no fire. Here you got another picture. It's an old picture of Maku. And he said the room in which he is confined, but for him, that room is the highest of the dwellings of paradise, because the three truths of life live therein. The Bab says that he is only with one letter of the